Okay, the problem is I sit here, I guess it's a Wednesday probably, I don't know. Yeah. And I sit here is that I've been having trouble after the first one that I that kept getting angry at me, and he's very controlling, not fair, basically, in PD. And I have had, and he tells lies out to the family and changes things and makes sure that whatever he tells, it's what's good for him and makes him look the best. And even when I told him I was sick, he was like, so you see, hey, that's not good for me, and he cut me off. He never even listened to what was wrong or found out, and then he disappeared. And that's why I'm now with the second person for doing this this whole thing that we have to do here. So, but his problem is now that he's not completely honest either. But it seems like he doesn't really want to help, and I understand that. That's fine, but he's not been upfront and honest, and he just twists everything to make it look good. And then he gets with his wife, and his wife helps him. And I think it's her, from all the stuff I know, pushing him so that he won't have to do anything and convincing him that he doesn't have to do anything. And that's probably what's messing this up. And so he doesn't not really into it. And I have a problem where it's to the point where, and this is not fair, he's actually sabotaging the estate. How so? Well, people do things for their own interests. A lot of times it's money, but sometimes it's not always just directly money. Sometimes it's a mix of money and other things that they want or don't want. So the thing is he's changing everything. His wife's sticking up for him, and it's very hurtful to me. And the other thing is that what's happening to me is totally unfair, given the nature of what happened where my mom was. It totally, there's people in that changeover from the old staff to the new staff. I mean, leaving her standing there not standing there, she can't walk, in her wheelchair or in her bed, not able to use the bathroom, and asking for hours. And she called to complain after hours because she didn't want to complain. And I had to go call them, and then after that, and I was nice, I didn't do anything, I just mentioned it casually. But then she started becoming afraid of the people because they're not nice to her all the time. There's people in there messing it up, so she didn't want to report anything. And they started being not nice to me too, and I didn't want to report anything because I didn't want anything to happen to my mother. But the whole thing is that they were not helpful at all. They did not help with the bills. I don't mean to help by pay the bills. I mean help with finding the correct insurance is what I mean to say, really. And they act like they do, but they don't. And I had a horrible time with the person that was supposed to help me over there, meaning that I would get different people, and then finally I started asking. At one point they started acting like they didn't like it, so I had to be real careful when I sent emails, so that everything was polite, of course, but I kept trying to get answers and it wasn't working, and then the person kept disappearing, and I didn't want to look like I was pushy, so I couldn't do too much there. But the waits started getting longer and longer eventually, until one time I waited 4 weeks, 3 weeks, and then another time I waited. I don't know if that's gone now, but I know this one I should be there. 5 weeks before I even got a response. But it didn't seem like it was that totally dire, and it was about a question about the people she was talking about and dealing with different companies, and it was also having to do, those conversations were supposed to be with insurance, but we could never really get to it because I was getting roundabout answers that weren't direct. So I had a terrible time with that. But eventually we found out that she was covered because she told my mom directly on the date, and I have that written down. So so okay, what was I saying? So the point is I don't want to go down that path right now, but basically I had a hard time with that, no help. And then right at the very, very end, when it was pretty much way late in the game, and they had let my mom go downhill by not giving her what she needed and denying her certain kinds of care. And part of it was, what was I going to say? Well, I tried to change that, and I could only get so far with that. So doing that, so she was regressing basically, and they weren't getting back to me. And finally, I had to take it into my own hands and call people, my own ideas, my own people, and call around and ask people to try to get her insurance the right way. And actually, it wasn't a call or two or three or four. It was probably like, I don't even know what the number is, but way over 10, easily probably over 20. Point is I kept going in circles, and it was so hard. Then everything kept getting messed up. Salesmen would get in the way and try to sell a different plan, which was part of her problem. Not with me, but it's going on. Well, I'm just babbling for nothing. What is the problem here? The problem is that Lonnie isn't doing the right thing here. And so the thing is, there's a lot of right things he's not doing. I'm just going to make a short thing about this. Very short. The whole plan is basically he doesn't feel well, probably, or he doesn't want to do it, but he's not been straight with me. And and I have to, don't know quite what to do about that, but I've been figuring it out and guessing it, and his wife's helping him, like I said. I don't know if I said that before, but because she's looking out for his, but they're the family over there. They're not looking out for my interests, so I'm alone here. So he's doing things to mess everything up. Like I go to talk to him and make things, if there's something he doesn't like, he stays away from it. Then he doesn't answer the email for days, and he says, "Oops, I didn't see it. Sorry, I didn't see that. Really sorry about that." And he makes a bunch of, and this has been going on and on. This is after the second uncle. The first one, I had to actually. He kept trying to start an argument with me, and I had to, at one point, call 911. I'm just going to skip off that and get back to the second one now to save time, because this is complex to go through in my mind. But second one keeps doing things, and then just recently, he keeps making changes without telling me. I say, "Please tell me." He doesn't do it. Then he'd like, before, what he did is he's told me absolutely nothing. I didn't see any of the letters. He kept them for himself, between him and the lawyer. And then I know, because I only got one here or there. I got some of them, but I feel strongly that I was missing important details. Then all of a sudden, I'm being told that this aggressive person shows up. And I was really upset, but what really upset me, that really, really upset me, and the whole story behind that. But what really got me upset is with the second one, what am I trying to say? The second one, everybody knows, okay, I'll get this clear, is he's not being fair about things, he's not being straight with me, he's not doing the right things. And he's basically, in trying to do that, he's trying to trick me, and his wife is trying to trick me, and it's a big problem. So, like I said, he didn't tell me anything, and he just sent me the emails when I was getting into trouble. Now, that was the first time, and I didn't have the heart to get him upset and say, "You should have done this, you should have done that, it messed me up." I was trying to, basically, the word is backstab me. He should have he should tell the family first, and then told the lawyer his decision, like as if it was what he wanted to do. He didn't want to go, for example, and fight a fight in a court or whatever, and neither do I. But he didn't even have, at this point, if someone would quiz him, he wouldn't even know. I don't want to do that, but I might have to. And he didn't get with me on anything, so nothing's organized, and I'm in trouble. And the thing is that now this is the second thing he's done. He went ahead as executor, and he knows that those funds they're not. It's a banking problem and a banking mistake, and they're improperly stored. But they're my funds. That's the problem, and everybody's been told this a million times. And he keeps acting like, well, it'll be one way or the other, and he doesn't try to do anything. He doesn't try to contact. He just wants it to go this way because why? Here's the reason: because it's faster. And if it's faster, he can be done with it. So, let him lose 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. He doesn't realizing that I'll not only lose that, but and I told him about a domino effect last week, but I'm going to lose a lot more. I'm probably going to lose my entire home. and I'm losing all my life savings. I'm losing everything. He doesn't care. It's easier. And he's trying to pretend he doesn't understand. How does he do that? Making the call shorter and shorter. It's, well, I didn't hear you on that. Sorry, I didn't hear you. I don't even know. So it's pretty unfair. So now what he did is he went ahead and on just a day and a half ago or 2 days ago, I guess, and I guess it was the 15th, right? I sent him, what I did is I was so worried about him doing the wrong thing that I didn't just, by the way, voicemail is much better for me than email. It takes me much longer and it wastes much more time, but he wants it that way probably so he can sit back at his leisure and think about how he's going to mislead me and do something different. And I'm tired of being tricked. But the thing is, I left a voicemail, and then the day before, and an email to make, because he could. So in case he missed one, he could find the other. And then what he did, and I told him not to do anything with the account at all, nothing until we talked, because I had something in mind that would have made this all a lot easier. He did not do any of those things, nothing. And one vague thing he did is he said to me, he said in my name, they said, comma, I understand that you sent me you sent copies to, of the checks. I understand that you sent copies of the checks to, the lawyer, but he didn't ask if I was finished. He knows how important it is, so he went ahead and he did that. He didn't really ask me if I was finished or anything. And then I wrote back to him. I said, don't do anything with the accounts, because I wasn't going to say, oh, I'm finished, I'm not finished, because it isn't about that. Just in case, I don't care what he does other than, well, actually I do, but that was the biggie right there. Nothing with the bank account. And then on the next, so he got my message almost for certain, and if not, he gets up in the morning to check his email. That's what he would do. So he's going to pretend like he didn't. But the thing is he should have, knowing how important it is, I better check. If it had been the first one I had, he was pretty good about that. Most people know that you check back with the person, but he's pretending he didn't understand because he's evading the process to make it easier. And then when I go to prove it, he gets scared, and then he tries to cover it up. And he does something very, very bold, like in the email he'll say to me, he said, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Everything is just as I talked about 2 weeks ago. And then there's no way to prove that. Actually, there is a way to prove that, because I have the emails, I've been keeping notes. Very, very extensive notes. And I can go back and I can find out, exactly if he had said, and also if he had said that to me, I would have remembered it, because all along the whole thing has been, do not change anything. He knows that. He knows it's important. But he said he's going to go ahead, and he thinks it's for my own good, but he doesn't understand why, because he won't get with me, because he cuts the conversation short. So he's damaging my situation, and maybe not instantly, but he's also damaging the estate. Obvious damage to the estate. Water pouring in and damaging the property is damage, and he knows about that. He's been told he's just, and then he makes makes decisions for me based on what he wants, and he goes ahead. So that's why I have to stop all this. And my parents originally wanted me to be the executor, but I was made to sign papers, and it wasn't clear. I didn't even know how to look it up the way. I didn't even understand what it meant. Point was, I was so upset, and I looked at it, I was trying to be helpful. I didn't really understand what I was doing when I signed the papers. Does that mean I'm doomed? It should not be, because I made sure that with the second one, I'm trying to avoid names here, even though I made one mistake already, but the thing is with the second one, I forgot what I was going to say now. All right, okay, so I'll keep going. So the point is that he's known all along, and he's evaded it, and he's caused me a lot of problems. And this is just total. And then he makes decisions without me. What kind of? I guess I'll say the word. It starts with EX. What kind of those? What kind of ones of those? I don't want to say the whole name on here. It's not that it's bad or wrong. There's nothing illegal, of course. It's just that I just want a little privacy, but I want to be able to say this. What kind of of those would act that way? They're damaging the estate. It's not a good relation. So I have to take that, and that's got to be stopped. Now here's the important part. I was nervous about it in the beginning, and he promised me. He said, you know, if you want, if you don't, I'll get started. If you want it, you don't like it, at any time you ask, I'll step down. He's already promised me that, and there are notes about that. So I paused there. Yep. Anyway, and I'm nervous, just kind of moving around here, but because I don't feel well. Okay. So anyway, now all of my funds, which are improperly placed, are there. I mean, if you think about it, with these kind of things, these kind of processes, how is it supposed to be that, you know, the parents make it all out and everything? There's beneficiaries, and you're supposed to basically, like, who would do that? They plan it out, so they go and they take the beneficiaries' money and funds and then process it back through the estate and then give them back part of it. That's not proper. The thing is, it's banking problem. It's misplaced funds. It's been reported, recorded. There's witnesses. Everybody knows it. And, you know, the thing is, it's my money. I can't stand to lose that money. It's destroying me. It'll destroy this estate that would also benefit the other beneficiary. That other beneficiary will get a lot less now, and so will I, all because this is damaged. And he doesn't. And I had a chance to do it, and I believe the lawyer basically didn't make a big deal out of it, hoping that he could get full control of everything and do what he wants to. That's what he wanted. Because why? Wouldn't he just do a good job? He does them all the time. He's done a lot of these for a long time. He's just used to it. And making things easier for him, maybe he doesn't want to get into particular details that might cause him to have to think a bit or work with something different. So he doesn't want to do it. So he wants to be done quick. The second one here wants to be done quick. And they just don't care. So I'm being ruined. I'm now down to the point. I'm going to put something here. How can I do it? I don't want to get too much other words in here, but let's see, what can I do here? Can you see that 194, 82? What does it say? Okay, do you get the picture? So I got down to that because nobody's been helping me the right way, and pretty soon that's all I had left. Now that's really about all I have left, plus a few extra hundred I deposited, and that's it. Just a little bit more here. There's not much of anything. So not enough to pay all the bills and keep going. I'm being ruined, and then it's going to mess up all the accounts. It's going to mess everything up. It's going to mess up any credit rating I have. Is going to go down the toilet if there's anything connected with that, which maybe there's not now. But it's already been messed up for these reasons. I can't pay certain people. I'm getting late on things, and that tax time is coming up. I'm in big trouble here, and nobody's helping me. And then what the second one here will do is another problem. He's going to go right in. He's going to say, oh, well, I'll tell you what, we can borrow from and I'll say it starts with the letter E. We can just borrow from that. And of course, that's incorrect, because the thing is then that further forces me to get rid of it in a certain timeline, which will also further damage the estate. And the first one, he was smart enough to talk to the lawyer and to mention that it would damage the estate, and they're ignoring it, and I'm getting into big trouble here. And the next thing is I had something else I could utilize that maybe I still can, but I've lost it. I'm just not going to even comment on that in here, on this, because it's public. Not that it's wrong again, but I just want some privacy. But the thing is that, and I couldn't put other people's info there anyway, so there's a lot of reasons for that. But yeah, getting back to what I said, I've lost that thing, and it's going to take days to fix it. This has been a nightmare, and I've been having anxiety attacks. I'm not ashamed to admit it. People that have been through this for not few days or a week or a month, but months and years and worrying, it's running me down. So anyway, just wanted to make some kind of note about that and point out what's happening to me. And also, I'm moving this quick just for a little privacy. That's the time right there. I mean, I could even, as you know, change system settings and go over here. You know, a lot of people know this. It's a big deal. And go to internet time. Go to change settings and update now. It's updated. And there's your time. Okay? So, yeah, look, I've been having horrible problems, and I'm going to stop for now. Okay, and this is the first one of these for today, which is, I think, a Wednesday. Let me check. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Done.